right in the heart of a silver bullet.
Yeah. I think they plotting on man. Don't wipe their feet when they enter the L.A.R. I feel a cold stare.
I'm starting to not have sympathy for the boomers. I'm really not. Best job market ever, best stock market in the history of the world. Every single boomer that's been on my show, they lived it up and spent all their money to live the lifestyle they wanted, and they didn't even set 10% aside a month. They had the best housing market, college, jobs. They were set up for everything. If they just put 5 to 10% a month aside in the stock market that they had, they would be multimillionaires.
If you were 25 in 1990 and made an average U.S. salary for 40 years, saving 5 to 10% per month in the S&P 500, they would have around $2 to $5 billion. This is how crazy inflation is. The average salary in 1990 was $21,000.
And yeah, even still, they could retire multimillionaires. Even still, even with that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Hold that thought. I have to take a leak.
Yeah, you're good.
Was good. I guess, this is about the boomer fatigue or boomer hate. And truth be told, this really happened the last 26 years, roughly. You know what I mean? Well, you could say 20. No, you can't say 20. Yeah, you could actually say 20, because of the Twin Towers and the war on Iraq and Afghanistan. Um, the economy started taking a hit when when they decided to borrow from thin air to pay for a war, and then basically war for 20 years. And what was interesting is, you know, even like Enron, now that I think about it, um, the housing market bubble, um, banks, insurance companies, Lehman Brothers and that stuff, AIG, bailing out the auto industry. I know, you're seeing young people becoming adults, and basically they started off in a good place, and they saw their parents and families in a good place, and now they see that good place is unaffordable for them. And what's interesting about this is, I think some of y'all, y'all, I'm trying to be nice, but some of y'all don't know. Not only is that the issue, but it's also going to get worse for you because, um, you know how they say, strong men make easy times make weak men make hard times. Well, truth be told, we're like 2 generations in to weak men, 2 or 3. True be like you said, like, because, and what I mean by that is basically boomers were riding the Jim Crow economy and the new inventions. You know what I'm saying? And the new tech economy being built, and all of the innovation along the way. No. Did they prepare for the future? No. I remember when I was a child, they were talking about kicking the can down. They keep kicking the can down for the next generation because they were talking about that with pollution. Like, y'all basically gonna pollute the world, and then you're gonna check out and be out of here, and you leave everybody else to fix it. And at that time, people didn't care. Part of the EPA emissions and all that stuff. And then as the debt started ballooning, the whole kicking the can mentality came back of, y'all just not gonna fix this. It's like, no, they're not. But not only are they not gonna fix it, and they're gonna leave it to you to fix. They're probably gonna break it so bad that it's gonna take decades. It took like I say 20, 26 years to get here. It might take 40 to get out. Just to be perfectly honest. And I think that's the issue because um I think so many kids who became young adults, y'all were actually spoiled to the point where your lifestyle took a hit when you became an adult because you were living half the hog of your greedy parents. Let's just say that. And now it's your turn to live that life and you can't afford to do it. And not to mention, all of the little um, bureaucratic red tape hustles along the way. You get a house, your parents pass down the house. Do you want to live in the house? You know what I'm saying? Do you want to live there? If you sell it, because if you live there, now you got to pay taxes on it at a higher rate than your parents because, hey, we got to get, to the point where you probably have to sell it. Because, the value has inflated so high. So that's the issue. Then you got the issue of, okay, we'll just sell it. We'll sell it and start over. Maybe, maybe not, because of the lower value of the dollar and the things you buy. If you inherit a substantial amount of money, it might just be a down payment, or it could pay a house off maybe. But now, what are you going to do for your kids? And that's part of the younger generation. We're not having kids because we're not. And it's like you're talking about a selfish generation while being a selfish generation. So we know this is not going to end well. And it's like, okay, now, I think America stepping away from capitalism is not something that's going to genuinely happen, because if America steps away from capitalism, it's not just a capitalism issue, it's a white supremacy issue. Like, the way we do things don't actually work. We actually, we ruined the whole slavery head start and the Jim Crow head start. These people were, what, let's just say the Civil Rights Act was 64. 36 years later, really 37, because I think the Twin Towers came down in 2001, if I'm not mistaken. 37 years later, we began on a jihad to ruin the country because we're Americans, we run everything. So that's a whole another aspect. Thus the whole MAGA movement and all that. A lot of the times what basically happened was, to me, America kept recreating things from an old era in a new era that doesn't work. Thus that ideology of, if you go to war generates money. That it used to, when the whole world was at war, well, all of Europe was at war, and they got bombed to smithereens, and America was doing all the manufacturing for the world. That made money. You know what I mean? Or going or warring with another country and stealing all their resources. Before the value of the dollar went up, and basically, not just the value of the dollar going up, but the inflation in America going up. So yeah, you stole $15 million, but it ain't, it's a drop in the bucket now. So now you're paying and paying and paying. We're going to war. Nothing. You get nothing out of it. We're going to get the oil. No. We're going to get the opioids from Afghanistan. It didn't do anything. Now we're going to snatch up the president of Venezuela and get their oil. Okay. All right. And now what you're seeing is, and even Make America Great Again, that was pretty much a Reagan-esque slogan. And so we're going to recreate what we did in the 80s. It's like, when Jim Crow was dead, but a lot of the policies were still being enforced and on the books, So people are like, yes, that's what the 80s was. 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, that was just diet Jim Crow. That's all it was. So, but it worked. It's like, that's nice. And now you have this issue where people are mad at the boomers, and it's like, bro, what y'all want us to do? What y'all want the boomers to do? Y'all, because y'all know what they're not gonna do, and it's like nobody's gonna lift a finger and say, okay, I'm just taking the wheel. No, no, because you really don't want to know how bad it is. Because if you knew how bad it is, you'd probably lose it. Because like, well, y'all did what? How? How did y'all F all of this up? Because just like the national debt being 40 trillion and counting, they ain't telling you about all the other stuff they messed up. They're not gonna tell you. Thus, you'll wind up with the presidential grays. You know how talk about the president goes to the president becomes a president and has dark hair, and when they leave, they so stressed out it's white and gray. Yeah. And then they look a whole lot happier and healthier after they gone. It's like, yeah, you can hate the boomers, but on their way out, oh, they finna kick all the doors down and light it on fire. And the problem with that is the vast majority of America is okay with it. That's part of that manifest destiny. We're gonna burn it all down and hoard the resources for ourselves, and everybody else will suffer. No, you're not in that You're not in that era. What you're doing is you're gonna burn it all down and be left with the bill. And then it's gonna, no, we can't. You stole from the whole world. You used the whole world. You exploited the whole world. It's not that you're just gonna be stuck with a bill. And then people go, oh, we got to quit and start from scratch. And the world's going to go, no. You owe. Just like we owe and y'all had to enforce that, you owe. You going to pay. So I'm going to leave it at that, man. Tell me what you think. Catch you on the next one. Peace.